Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Stream of Chaos. My name is James, and there is a feedback loop that I have not dealt with. Let me just fix that. There we go. Sorry about that, everybody. Hello, welcome. Good to see you. Welcome back. My name is James. I'm the keeper for this game. I'm joined, as I always am, by this fantastic crew of folks, but let's have them introduce themselves this time. Who wants to go first, since last time I butchered the order so completely?
I'll stand up. I'll go first. Hey, I'm Daniel. I play Agent Mountain Man Griff Gutherson in this campaign of Shadows Over Stillwater. Last week I was in a real unfortunate situation, which look I quite frankly don't want to go into. So we'll just leave it there, I think.
Yeah, we won't touch on that again. We're just going to leave it off this. There's no reason.
Why would we? Nothing important happened last week.
Absolutely. No. Who wants to go next?
Hey, I'm Jackson playing Jeremiah MacDonald. Last week I shot Griff in the leg. It was great.
We weren't meant to talk about it.
Oh.
That's fine. Look, you broke the seal. I guess everyone's going to talk about how much they shot me and
put it out in the open. All right.
It was what was good for him at the time. We didn't know what was going to happen if we didn't shoot Griff in the leg.
Well, it was fun treatment, but hopefully it will be an effective one. Who next?
Hi, I'm Art. I played Dr. Joseph Waite, and I may have been the catalyst for Griff getting shot in the leg and also stabbed with a syringe, because when you try and put down a bull of a man like Griff, you do what you need to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to take that bullet. I think Griff is responsible for Griff getting shot in the leg. I think.
I don't know.
I mean, I definitely stabbed you with a syringe full of narcotics, though.
Yeah, but that was to stop me getting shot in the leg. I
Actually,
wish
no.
that had worked.
I think you got shot first. I made sure you were shot first.
There was a lot of shooting.
You're right. I did get the order of events go. I went crazy. I got shot in the leg. I got drugged, and then
you murdered a man.
Yeah.
Look, let's not focus
Mac
on.
grappled you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, let's not focus on who shot who and who was trying to use their hatred to summon an elder being. Instead, let's have Dave introduce himself.
Hello, I'm Dave. I play Grease, and recently I've been deputized for the sole purpose of firing upon an unarmed innocent man.
And all you had to do was assault the person who you wanted to deputize.
One of my closest friends. Who
exactly.
Knew?
Did I mention the probationary period? I feel
like that didn't happen, and you're never getting this fucking badge back, matey.
Oh, well.
Okay, so for those of you who are just joining us, this is a Call of Cthulhu campaign called Shadows Over Stillwater, which is a campaign set in the Down Darker Trails setting. That's Call of Cthulhu in the Wild West. We've been playing this for a while. If you want to catch up on the story, you can check out the Chaosium YouTube channel, and remember to subscribe to that channel if you're not already, and to follow us here on Twitch for all of these kinds of wonderful adventures. What happened last time? Well, our investigators have been hot on the heels of a gang of criminals called the Green-Eyed Gang, and bit by bit, they have been whittling down their numbers. Now, most recently, they went after a man named Elijah Smythe, who was the rival of Griff Gutherson. And there was, things didn't go exactly to plan. Elijah Smythe took hostages. He was a dangerous opponent, but eventually, the crew managed to follow him up into the mountains, into the ruins of an old Spanish fort near the town of Shade, and foil his plans somewhat. We kind of left things on a cliffhanger last time, with all of our investigators gathering around a boiling, or simmering at least, lake with possibly a strange being deep within it. But let's leave that off for now, and as we jump into the story, I want to take us back to the town of Shade. So, the doors to a hotel are swinging open. This is the single hotel in the center of Shade, the one where all the good rooms are, and strolling out from it, head held high, is Grease. It's been a couple of weeks since the events up at the top of the nearby mountains, and Grease, I presume, is looking a little different. Do you want to describe how you've changed, Grease? What do you look like now?
Well, I've grown up. I've had 2 weeks of muscle to put on. I come into being a man and to fill this overcoat, which I've purchased, and I dress in a fashion very similar to Max.
All right. So, okay. That coat, really? Oh, well.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks good on him. It's going to look good on me.
Absolutely. You're staring out at the town of Shade. You can hear already the sounds of movement from the fighting ring that you know is set up not too far away. How have you been killing time in Shade? What have you been doing during your recuperation?
Well, I mean, so did anything come out of that lake? Because that feels important.
Nothing's come out of the lake yet. In fact, let's jump back to the lake for a second. I want you to tell me one thing that you did in the immediate aftermath of all of the disaster that happened. We're going to jump back in flashbacks because the events up there are so scattered, so frantic. But basically, once you manage to shoot down Elijah, once you manage to stop Griff from killing Elijah, things seemed to settle. The lake stopped simmering and boiling. The people back at the fort who up until recently had been possessed and who were wandering around trying to harm you began to wail and cry out, but they were themselves again. Suddenly, the fort was devoid of enemies. It was functionally empty, and every terrible thing was calm as soon as it started. Tell me one thing that you did to try and bring things back to normal. Did you escort people down the mountainside? Did you patrol the outside of the lake? Did you deal with Griff?
I mean, this just seems like another problem solved by murder. Pretty easy. So I reckon they can walk themselves back out. I'm more concerned about whatever's in that lake. And I'd certainly like to sort of wade in a little. See if I can get my gaze on something, if it's inside.
Okay.
I'd rather do it now than in a week or so when it bursts itself and comes rampaging down the mountain and we ain't prepared for it. I mean, we're here and we're armed. Let's finish this sucker off. It's down there.
Well, absolutely. So as the rest of the folks were bustling around doing whatever they were up to, you strode into the lake, feeling the heat immediately press against your skin, your clothes soaking to you as you waded in up to your knees. We'll jump back to you in a second because I think that other people might be doing exactly the same thing. And if that's the case, I want to jump back there. But here's a little spoiler. You will make it back to Shade. Now, next, let's talk about Mac. Mac, you're probably just a moment behind your new deputy. Has anything really changed about you?
Do you mean back up on the mountain or in
Well,
town?
right now, when we see you coming out of the saloon, do you look different?
No. It's just it was just another day, another increasingly odd day, but another day nonetheless of staying alive against the odds. He's probably keeping a very close eye on Greece these days. Because just on the size of his head, don't know how fast it can balloon, but I've got an inkling. So yeah, just keep a close eye on Greece and making sure he doesn't get too far ahead of himself.
Okay, probably a good idea. What about you? When the disaster happened on the mountain, what was your first thought? Was it for the people up there?
I would have been shepherding the people down, getting them to safety, making sure nothing terrible is going to happen to the people. I promised we'd save them.
Okay, so you turned away from Greece, who was heading into the water. You turned away from Griff and the dock, and you went back up towards the town where panicked people were yelling and staring at the bodies of one of the. You killed at least one person up there, I believe, shot them dead, and you tried to reestablish order and calm people down, and in general get people to some kind of safety. It's pretty dark there, and it's a long trip down. Can I get you to make either an intimidate check, and it'll be a hard intimidate check because these people are pretty frantic, or a persuade check to try and use your official, powers and your general winning personality to calm these people down and get them in a position where you can lead them down the mountain.
Do you know what, JB? I think you've tempted me to make an intimidate check.
Okay.
I think I'll indulge myself.
Well, that's unusual for you because you don't have anything special about intimidate checks, do you?
Oh, you don't know the half of it. You probably do. My pulp talent is that I am a scary, which means I'm going to roll all my intimidate checks. Oh, with either a bonus die or at an easy difficulty level. So
Which would you like?
You're telling me it's a hard check?
It's a hard check.
I'm going to call it a standard check.
Okay,
Just
well,
make one roll.
You go ahead, fine then. That's all right. I'm not angry.
It's a hard anyway. So
Okay.
as we were. Sorry,
Perfect.
I didn't mean to be so combative.
That's okay. I'm probably
Jamie,
overreacting.
I would like to scare these people into submission.
No, absolutely. No, you basically whipped them all up into shape. You came in, you put on the full martial authority and started marching them down the mountain to safety as quickly as possible. Some of these people were hostages. Some of them were from the Navajo village nearby. Others were from the town of Shade. And you basically had to get people back to, that you needed to get them back to their homes as quickly as you possibly could. Up here, it was dangerous, and you didn't know what was about to come marching out of the water, aside from Greece, hopefully. Doc, what about you? You sometimes keep odd hours, working all through the nights. When you left when you got back to Shade, do you think that you would be diving back into your study? What's your latest obsession?
I mean, my latest obsession's probably as it always has been, looking into these tablets, trying to understand more about things. I imagine, depending on what's there, I possibly might be looking at things I found in the fort.
Okay. Well, does that imply that when everything went to chaos, you started searching the fort?
I would have taken a look over Griff, made sure he was upright, and I would have attempted to remind Mac of the rather large axe wound in his chest, but I assume he ignored me as per usual. So when both of those two brushed me off, as they all want to do, I probably went and had a gander around.
Okay, perfect. So you tried to take care of folks and then eventually did end up taking a look around. I'm going to ask you to make 2 checks. I'd like you to make a medicine check for me just to basically assess what's going on with Griff. And I'd like you to make a spot hidden check for me as well. Griff, would have you pushed away the doc? What would have you done? What was going through your mind in the moments? You're the person that you wanted to kill was dead and you were alone. I believe the last thing that you did was you shook the doc and then just gave up and hated yourself utterly. I think that's the final thing that we ended on.
So I think Griff, this huge bear of a man, is kneeling down in this water, which is reasonably deep, I guess, but enough that he's, and he is looking down at his hands, and with the large beard on his face, his expression could be hard to read from a distance, but his shoulders are shaking as he sort of just is immensely still in this, and just doesn't sort of react to anything around him.
I think that you probably need shepherding. Mac, if you notice Griff not moving, would you try to get the big man down as well?
Oof.
I don't think he's gonna die. I think it's gonna take more than that. I'm more concerned about the innocent people.
All right. Well, then let's jump back to Greece for a second. We'll get back to you in just a second, Doc, to talk about what you may or may not have found. Greece, you stepped across into the water. Your mind was fixed on the strangeness here, and you need to make sure that that is safe.
Mm-hmm.
So you walk in, you get about up to your mid-thigh. It's warm. It was beginning to steam and even bubble and boil moments ago, but now the temperature is dissipating rapidly, and you can see this flat, still lake extended out in front of you. There's no sound, no movement from within.
Any of y'all remember the thing he mentioned as he was summoning it? Something about a Cthulhu?
I mean, you can remember the approximate words. It was only seconds ago. Yeah, something here, there. You could try and probably just guess it, recreate it if you'd like.
I'm not trying to recreate it. I'm not that stupid. Could I make a Cthulhu Mythos check to kind of see what situation we're dealing with here? I mean, here's what I was thinking. I think he was summoning something that may not have actually been in the lake, but, kind of elsewhere. I want to get the feel if this is a present problem, that if someone else comes here and mutters the right things or commits a crime in hate, we're going to have this whole problem rising back up again, or if it's elsewhere and it was a this bloke in particular kind of a situation.
Sure, absolutely. Make me a Cthulhu Mythos check. Okay. Look, you're not really sure. You know that... Look, stepping away a bit from player knowledge, because you and I and everybody who knows the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game knows a little bit about Cthulhu. But you don't at this stage, or Greece doesn't. And is there a Cthulhu at the bottom of this pit in the middle of New Mexico? Maybe. You don't know what a Cthulhu is, so there's possibly something down there.
Could be more than one. Could be 4 Cthulhus.
Exactly. Yeah, half dozen at least.
I reckon I could take one.
I think you could take a Cthulhu as well.
We dealt with most else. I don't see anything moving down here, though, and he looks deader than dog shit. I'll wade back over to that old bastard, and I'm going to go through his pockets. Make sure he don't have any rituals or nothing. It's going to get sort of soaked in the water and do something malicious. And then I'll pocket them, and then when I next talk to the doc, he can have a leaf through him, see what he's getting out.
Okay, well, at this stage is a blossom of blood sort of leaping out and seeping out into the water. You have to get pretty close to
Don't
Griff
look too
to
good,
start
Hoss.
going through the pockets. Are you giving like an awkward glance across at the big man who's kneeling next to the body, or do you just sort of ignore him and start going through the pockets?
I didn't mean for this to happen, Griff. You know that, right? I mean, I reckon we're going to get back down the mountain, and we'll get a drink or something, and we'll sort all this out. I mean, he's dead, sure as hell. Do you want to go through his pockets? You want to see if he's got something of yours? I mean, we saved all them natives and everyone else who was up here. I mean, you did good work, Griff. All right, I'll go get the doc for you soon.
Okay. So you quickly go through the pockets. First of all, he has a sort of kind of like a rosary bead, except lined with various seashells and mussels. Some of them old and fossilized. Some of them looking oddly, new and fresh. And that's weird because you're in the middle of New Mexico, not particularly near any oceans, but there's nothing strange beyond that. Now, if you are suspicious about this lake, I will tell you the lake is hellishly suspicious. It's a giant pool. You can't see where the bottom is. It's a little hot to go swimming around in right now, but you could definitely go and explore it. And when we jump back to Shade, that might be something that you have been doing. Let's jump back to the doc for a second. Doc, you succeeded in your medicine check, and you were able to tell, even before you started to touch Griff, he's going to be okay. The wounds are relatively okay. And when you tried to treat Mac for the giant axe wound, he was busy, yelling at people and getting them on the way. So you figure they're both going to be okay.
I'll deal with them when we get back to town.
Okay. You started looking around the area. Then unfortunately you failed.
No, I didn't.
You didn't? Yeah, I'll have luck that down to a success. Sorry, I see that now. Easy peasy. Okay. So with a success, as you begin to search through the various effects in the fort, you are going to find hidden in one of the rooms at the back behind sort of a barracks area. This would have been an officer's quarters of some description, you presume, what looks like the sleeping quarters of Elijah Smythe. It's pretty sparse. There's nothing particularly comfortable here, but what you will find is a small bound black leather book filled with all kinds of strange and bizarre notes. Specifically, and let me just get the exact details of which we're going to find, but effectively you have found a tome. Otherwise, is there anything else you want to do before departing from the fort?
I'm gonna put that in my bag and close my bag. I'm also gonna put away my gun, given that I had to pull that out again for some kind of unholy something. No, I think after that, with the medicine check, I'm aware he's physically okay.
Yep.
Am I aware that he may not be mentally okay?
Yeah, with the medicine skill usually strictly deals with physical ailments. I would ask you to make a psychology or psychotherapy, but I'm not going to ask you to roll because common sense dictates he looks like a wreck. You are talking about Griff here, right? Kneeling on the ground. No, he's not well.
In that case, once I have something to go on from this situation that I can look at later, I will head on over to Griff, and I probably won't say anything I'm just gonna like sit down.
Okay. The two of you sit there for a time. Grease, when you're out of the water, are you going to go back up and join the marshal, or are you going to sit here with these two? No, you're up.
No, I'll probably stay with them for a moment.
Okay.
Marshall needs help, he'll holler.
The marshal doesn't holler. He got a hard success, remember. He starts heading down the mountain before long, and you assume, I guess, that your companions are going to follow. And for a few moments, the three of you are sitting at the edge of this lake, staring out. There's still the faintest bits of steam rising off it, but bit by bit, those things start to fade away, and the collection of you sit there mutely until one of you speaks.
That seemed like a close one. Really, I mean, I don't know what the hell he was doing, but I reckon that could have gotten a lot worse if we didn't act.
Yeah, that's our specialty these days. Arriving just in time, it seems.
I mean, cut a little
Mac,
fine.
Mac, you're back. No, I think Mac, I think you've torn off down the mountain at this point. So
Oh, I'm sorry.
no, so
I thought that
Is
was up
what
to that.
Mac
By all
would have
means.
said if he was here. But
Yes.
those are just his words, they ain't mine.
Apologize.
I am gonna pull out my flask
Yep.
and I'm gonna offer it to Griff.
Yeah. Okay.
And I just
That's not what he says.
No.
Sorry, that's not what he says. But he looks at it and he goes and he reaches for it and takes it off you.
and like when you take it, there's a moment of resistance before I let go, and I'm just looking and be like,
Okay, that's it.
it's a little strong. Be careful.
Take a swig, Griff, and it is.
But Griff takes a Griff size swing. Like
Mm.
you said, be careful. He isn't.
Okay.
I take a.
I'm doing it because it is morally and ethically correct to warn you, but if you don't, I'm not.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Yeah,
I get you. I get
That's
you.
about anything.
Okay. But yeah, I lean back and take a big old swig of it.
Okay,
And I-
perfect. It burns for a second on the way down, and then this weird kind of dissociative warmth starts to spread across your chest. Make for me a Constitution check.
I'd love to.
Also tastes like honey.
Oh,
Yum.
It's
You better be planning on
that is
walking
just
down
a great
here.
thing to get a critical failure on. I'm just
I ain't carrying your
utterly
fat
delighted.
ass.
Okay, now technically,
Don't sit down.
Technically, you do have a Constitution above 50, so this is not a critical failure unless it's a 000. So
But it's a pretty bad failure.
It's
Let's
a
just go.
you take this and it calms you down, but you start to just completely fade away and become blank, and your memory drifts and you don't really remember much else. You get down the mountain somehow. You must have. The other two would have taken you down eventually. And no, you're gonna leave him there, Grease?
I mean, we strong and consider it.
I mean,
Yeah,
I don't
well.
know.
It's a thought. And
As soon as he drinks it and has this reaction, he becomes very sort of. He's still quiet, but he's quite malleable. Like you can kind of get him to do what you want.
I'm
but
big feller.
He won't really talk. Or
That was
anything.
sort of the point of feeding you a large volume of opium, because
Yeah.
it makes it a lot easier to be like, come on now, you just need to stay upright. We'll make sure you don't fall over. You might be a bit woozy, but you'll be okay.
Let's go mountain climbing.
Mm-hmm.
we've had bad experiences with that, but you're going down this time, and famously, going down the mountain is the easiest part.
And you'll get
I
down
will
there.
Probably also look at Grease. And be
There you go.
like, how you feeling?
Pretty good, all things considered. I still don't really get how things ended up. I mean, I'm shocked to hell that nothing went worse. I mean, it just seems like we got out of this pretty clean. Only fellow what died is the bloke that deserved it, and that gal I shot right at the beginning, and she came at us. Don't feel too bad. Just seems like, I mean, it feels like the sky's still about to fall, Like I'm keeping my fingers crossed for the next week and a half, because something's going to hit. It's going to hit hard. I just don't feel like this is over. And I don't think Griff's There's still, part of Elijah alive in his head or something, because I ain't moving.
I'm keeping an eye on Griff. Don't worry about that.
Yeah,
If you need to talk about anything,
I'll let you know.
all right, let's get Griff down the mountain, hey?
Gon' get.
Griff obliges, and we will jump back to the town of Shade. Doc, the book that you got is called To the Waters I Go, and it appears to be, it's partially a diary, partially a historical record, but it's a lot of conjecture, and it seems to be recording things that are not necessarily, you start reading and you can't think of the historical analog for this. You can spend some time reading it over the next 2 weeks if you'd like. So I suppose I should ask, what is your current obsession? What will you be looking at? Grease, if you would like as well, you can start, you've got up to the mountain, takes about a day to get up there entirely. You can be going back and trying to investigate eventually. But first of all, let's, maybe Doc will come with you. What are you looking into in the immediate time frame? When Mac and Grease are stepping outside of the saloon, coats flapping, where are you? Are you awake? Are you still awake after having been up all night studying books? Are
What
you?
time is it?
Let's say it's about 10 in the morning.
I would most likely be moderately dozing. I think Doc does a lot of his work by candlelight at this point.
Okay.
And sort of naps late afternoon and early morning as a way of getting through it. Great, this is a question for Grace. Did you bring to me what you found?
Yeah, it's all yours. I'll leave it with you. It's wet, and I mean, a good bit of the ink's all smudged and everything, and I just kept it in my pockets, but that's all he had on him.
Thanks. In that case, if I've got a hold of the rosary beads and other stuff that Grace found, I would be going through those as well.
Okay. All right. So you're focusing rather than on the tablets recovered from the mountain.
That's probably a question then, because I know that I rolled really well on those tablets before.
Yes.
Have I gotten a significant chunk of what they have and would be moving on to a new thing, or is there still a lot left?
I'll tell you what, you have unlocked some information from them, but these are an archive. You can spend more and more time looking into them, and you will get more and more out of it. That said, this book here, it's news on another topic. I suppose the question is, do you want to be an expert on the serpents and on all of their kind of relevance and secrets, or do you want to start looking into what exactly was going on up at this lake and into the world of Cthulhu's and Rilliers and sea people, which the book seems to talk about a lot. Mechanically as well, I'll be asking you to either make a Narcal and Cthulhu Mythos test to keep examining the tablets, or just a straight intelligence test to read through this book.
I think for the moment, where I'm at with the snakes, I'm I have got something out of it and I know I can keep going and it's going to be there. This book is new and different.
Okay.
So I think it's going to be the book up until I understand vaguely what it is. And then once I know what it is, I may change track depending on what is more interesting, essentially.
Okay, that's totally reasonable. So you have been studying this thing. Make for me an intelligence test. And I believe you have a talent here that might come into effect.
I do. I don't have anything as fancy to boot as Jackson does, but yes, for the doc is, I believe, sharp-witted.
Okay.
That's what it's called, which means I get to roll a bonus die for intelligence tests.
Always a good sign. All right, so make your roll with a bonus die.
Mm-hmm. Let us have a look.
Oh, hard success. Okay, brilliant. So this book, as I said, is called...
A bonus, yo.
Oh, yeah, of course. What am I doing? Yeah.
Yeah, hard success. Thank you.
It may look like a hard success, but it is a hard success. This book is called To the Waters I Go. It is in English. It is written by Charles Westwood Charter in 1802. And it appears to be the musings of an English cleric living in Anglesey in the 1660s. It is half diary, half records, as I said, and it discusses numerous dreams relating to the oceans, aquatic life, and lost civilizations, with specific references to the sea people, Cthulhu, and Rillier. Later, the book contains rituals and ceremonies in praise of the divine gazers, who is catched but a wink within the waves, and whose endless slumber shall cometh to an end, and the world shall know of their likeness. You can see markings from the hand of what you presume is Elijah Smythe throughout the entire book. And they seem to have a level of further to them that you would expect to see in somebody's personal copy of a Bible, where they would be making notes and where they would be trying to decode the meaning of passages. And Elijah Smimes appears to have looked through several areas of this book and appears to be drawing links between them, and also in particular appears to be drawing links with the idea of stirring the sleeper through hate and strong emotion, of which he believes hate is the most powerful. Now, you're going to lose a d6 of sanity because reading any Cthulhu tome is a bad idea. And why would you do this, Doc?
Because you mentioned the keyword that I think is important to my character right now, unless there are two with that same name.
Ah, okay, fair enough.
I should probably check that with you and be like, is this the same that I care about? I'm not sure. But I don't know, so Doc doesn't know. 1d6, did you say?
Yes, 1d6.
Before I roll this, I'm going to check what happens if I roll a 6. What is it? Is it 5 at once?
5 or more, yeah. 5 in one hit, or
Okay.
a fifth in a day is the other one. You know, worry about.
Okay.
You'll be fine.
Ah,
Sweet. Okay, that's okay. You have a couple of really spooky nights, or I suppose since you're working through the night, spooky days. You wake up and the sun is shining outside, and you think, no, close the windows. Nothing must wake, and you're studying by candlelight. Takes you 2 weeks. You are going to gain 4 points of Cthulhu Mythos. And you are also going to learn the spell Contact Starspawn of Cthulhu. So specifically, as you read through these details, you realize that there is something in that lake. And there are many of those things scattered about throughout the world. And you think that you know the rituals, you know the practice, you know the ways that you might be able to call and contact one of these creatures. I'll get for you the details of this spell. And while I do that, I would like to talk to Griff. Griff, we know where the others are, walking out of a saloon, studying up in their room. Where are you? What have you been doing? Tell us about Griff.
So Griff was very malleable, and as you say, he doesn't remember that much about how he got down there, but he remembers waking up in one of the bedrooms above the saloon, in one of the things. And as he emerges, he blinks his eyes, and no one else seems to be around. So he makes his way downstairs, and he makes his way towards the door, and then looks across. And as he glances across, he sees the bar. And instead of walking to the door, he walks to the bar, and he orders a drink. And he finishes that drink, and then he orders another drink, and he finishes that one. And several more later, he is found by the others, probably coming back to their rooms or something, well within his cups. However, he hasn't got that jolly attitude that some people get when they drink. It's very like dark drinking. It is very, and to be honest, he's probably not at the bar. He's probably in a corner, making sure that he's getting drinks, but is alone and wants to stay alone by all means of body language.
Now, the effect of having consumed the contents of the Doc's flask and failing the Constitution test would normally be that you were developing an addiction to the contents. I think that it makes sense, and since Griff has sort of alluded to a change in how they drink before, that your character is going to become addicted to alcohol, or at least
and I think he might be chasing what was in that flask, because I think Griff never really knew what was in the flask. He didn't get the doc. In fact, I don't think he ever even saw that. Like, even if he did, he didn't understand it. He doesn't really know enough about medicine to know that. I think it's laudanum, isn't it, Art? Is that right? Yeah, that laudanum can do that sort of thing and have that effect. So to him, what he drank in that flask was just alcohol, and it was wonderful, and he is chasing that. But every drink is not the same. It doesn't seem to be the same. But he definitely has at least some sort of a substance addiction coming.
So you have spent the last weeks deep in your cups, trying desperately to chase something or find some kind of resolution to what happened up there, but you're not finding it. Have you been... Grease mentioned that there might be a little bit of Elijah still living inside your head. Does Griff feel like that's true?
Possibly. I actually think Elijah's not who he's angry at anymore. And in a way, he's dead. He's gone. He can't hurt anyone anymore. But Griff can hurt people still, and he's worried about that, I think, most of all.
Okay, excellent. Let's jump back to the law enforcement portion of this group. The two of you, we alluded that the collection of you were back in Shade. You were able to work. You know that people have been restored. The Navajo folk are back in their village, and you have brought some of the hostages that were taken from Shade back to their homes in Shade. What else have you been doing? Grease, do you want to head back up to the mountain and, I don't know, fire bullets wildly into the lake? Or what general work are the two of you undertaking?
Well, Mac, I reckon there's got to be some sort of bastards around here doing something untoward, and we should sort them out. Some sort of bad boys situation.
Which bastards are those? The ones messing around with lakes, or you think there's more of these banditos out here?
Yeah, I settle for a bandito. I prefer someone messing around with the lake. I think just seems more relevant and more dangerous. If there's banditos or something, we could give them a holler. And I just want to kind of take this badge for a spin, see what it do.
Well, that's not exactly what it's for.
I feel like it just needs to, I got to learn from you, see how to use it properly and apply it sensibly and similar. And I reckon, let's keep the training wheels on, spinning for a little bit.
All right, well, I suppose we'll make sure that everyone got back here in one piece. Figure out who was missing, spread the bad news to loved ones who need to hear it, and then we make sure that Smythe didn't have any other friends hiding out around here.
I reckon sounds like a plan.
All right. So the two of you get back to work and start actually doing your jobs. Okay, fantastic. So, of course, first of all, I'm going to let both of you make a credit rating improvement check because you're doing your jobs. But before you do that, of course, one of the critical components of practicing as a marshal and a marshal's deputy is going to be making law checks. So as you start to do the paperwork, Mac, you can make a law check. And Grease, what's your law skill again?
I reckon it's a 5.
All right. Well, you can make a law check.
I will.
Hey, Grace,
Yeah.
what is illegal?
Grace, can you name one? Can you name one
crime?
law?
Name
I
one
can't.
crime.
The problem with laws is they write them all long, and it's harder to kind of get your head around. I think they should be simplified. We should just go, don't do killing. All right, it don't need. Who gives a shit what a manslaughter is? If you're slaughtering men, that's killing. We put that in the same bin. There don't need to be different categories. We hang
That's on
'em.
me. I set the bar too high. Name one law. Any law.
Jaywalking. You can't
Not
just go
a law.
wandering across streets.
Actually, not a law yet. Not until autumn.
Ain't it? Hell, I mean, what if you go wandering into some fella's horse or something?
Jaywalking has a very sordid history, and you should look it up. It's
What have they
fascinating.
been screaming at me for then? Every time I go wander in front of carriages, that's their problem. Then is what I'm hearing.
This is when Grease rolls a critical success on this law
Watch
check and actually
and learn. No.
Would you like to spend 34 points of luck, Griff?
Not even remotely.
Would you like to push the roll?
What might that involve?
Okay, so first of all, Mac, your check has failed as well. So neither of
Very
you are going
interesting.
particularly well. And what the situation is basically this: Shade is a town that has a pretty functioning and effective sheriff. You know, the sheriff works there pretty well. There's not a ton to do, and the sheriff also has some pretty good questions for the collection of you. You know, now you have to do all the paperwork and account for shutting down the bank. That banker that you terrified and intimidated is asking why you did an autopsy on his desk and talking about the role of the federal government in banking. And you also have to account for that person you shot dead in the middle of the street. And then there's paperwork for everything. So the collection of you are basically going to be bobbed down completely. And the big thing here is you're not going to be able to get any new work done. And more specifically, you're not going to be getting any leads on the Green-Eyed Gang unless you lean into your position as a federal law enforcement official and basically say, buzz off. I say it, it goes. So that's your push consequence, Mac. You're going to basically risk alienating the law in Shade, and you know, if worse comes to worse, you could get kicked out of the town if you fumble.
I'm more inclined to just slow things right down, do everything by the book, make Grease learn most of the paperwork, and just keep the failure and just.
You're
trudge
joking,
on.
right? That's like a humorous, like, you know, first day on the job, we have a laugh or two, and then, no, but for real, when do we get our guns and go, you know, sort out banditos? Because they're just boring as hell.
You already got your gun. Here's your pen.
Never
Gets
got
filling
my
out
pen
those
license.
forms.
Normally I'm with the pencil and the graphite. Oh, damn it. Fingers.
All right,
hurt.
if you would like to push this roll, Griff. Grease. What we're going to say is that you're getting incredibly bored. You're having a terrible time, and you decide that all the sheriffs and marshals in the comic books that you read, what they do is they can spot a criminal a mile away. So as you're walking down towards the office one day from the saloon, you spot someone walking along who you reckon is doing something illegal, and you figure that if you could just catch them, then you'll be such a hot shot that they'll spare you of any paperwork. So the risk here is that you may arrest someone or attempt to arrest someone who is just walking down the street, and there will be consequences for that.
I mean, that's ain't.
You'll mostly be ridiculed, and they'll let
Yeah, I ain't one for ridicule, though. People already have a pretty high opinion of me. I like to keep it up there. What how's theirs for a pitch, Jimothy? There's all sorts of bespectacled nerds in this kind of area, bankers and such. They love paperwork.
Yep.
They love it. And I mean, if I just tempt the little bastards with a couple of forms and signatures, the opportunity, get some impressions on how the laws work and everything. I mean, one of these sheriffs got to have a deputy that's just aching to get a promotion.
Yep.
Maybe one of them's interested in doing some of this, and I can go to bed.
Absolutely.
Or
What do you
just-
think the downside to doing that would be?
Mac will whip me.
Okay, so Mac explicitly told you to not involve the state authorities in any part of this particular business because it is critical for his work that does not occur. And you, unfortunately, have decided that maybe...
I take it back. I'll do it. I'm just doing it slow. This is all just the daydreams. As I gaze out the window and consider arresting a very slow woman, I think about inventing jaywalking as a crime so I can bean her with it, because she's fucking right in the middle of that road.
I think that the history of jaywalking, I think, is that the term jay was like a rude word to call somebody. I think that
it was a derogatory term, and it was like pushed by car companies to get pedestrians off the roads. It was like, it was a way of
So we
going.
could blame the pedestrians.
Yeah, so we
not
could
the
blame
car
pedestrians
drivers.
for getting hit by cars instead of blaming the car companies for making dangerous vehicles. They were like, you know what? If we call pedestrians Jays, people will think badly of them and then blame. It's victim blaming. Literally victim blaming.
How dare you get in the way of my car?
Exactly. which is why we're not allowed to walk on roads anymore. We used to be allowed to, and then car companies were like, "We keep hitting people, and people get annoyed, so
Off
we're
you go.
gonna victim blame."
Yeah,
Huh.
well, if you want to invent jaywalking,
I just think about it for a while.
I don't think there's enough cars around to invent
I'm gonna have to invent automobiles first. I never said Greece's full name is, of course, surname Ford. It just hasn't
we
come
were going to
up.
say lightning.
Easy. Okay. So, look, the last 2 weeks then have been basically devoted to the two of you working and trying to resolve the legal situation that you find yourselves in. And Doc, it's been occupied with you diving into study. Now, I have sent you the details for the spell that you have, and I apologize for the excellent camera angles that I acquired with them. You can look into that, but I will give you a warning that all spells in Call of Cthulhu are a little dangerous. They come with a cost. When you start talking to alien creatures, they tend to want to talk back, and that can be very dangerous. So save it for emergencies.
I was going to say, like, everything you sent me is kind of what Joseph pieces together.
Right.
Lovely. I think he's like, "Oh, this is fascinating. I could learn some." Nope. 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 I think he got to the devouring bit and was like, "Oh, I have a friend."
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, the what bit?
Did you say
Can you share with the class?
devouring?
I mean, if Joseph asks you to come for a walk near a lake, maybe don't.
No, yeah.
I wasn't going there anyway.
So I'm sure good things will come of it. Yeah, no, thank you for that. I'm thoroughly amused by the power now at my disposal.
Still just a little concerned about the word devourer that we seem to have just skimmed over again and are not.
There are mechanics for being devoured. It's not important. Let's move straight
Okay,
on.
all right. I'm gonna take your word on this one.
Pretty sure there was a point where Joseph was going to devour everyone if he failed the luck check, and we kind of skimmed over that.
Yeah, that was.
We skimmed over what?
Anyway.
I'm sad I succeeded.
So, look, as the collection of you have been working, and sort of Griff, you've been working your way through some bottles.
If I have time, I will go check on Griff.
Please. What? So you find Griff? What state are you found in? Say one average night of the week. It's a.
What time is it?
Oh gosh, what time? Well, you have a weird schedule, Doc. What time would you go and check on people?
It is either going to be sometime during the day when he stumbled down to get food, or it's going to be he's like gone out of his room at night and possibly like notices you're still at the bar if it's like early hours of the morning, potentially. Like he's gone to get refreshments, bathroom break, that kind of thing.
Let's go with that. The second one, I think.
Early hours of the morning?
And,
Alright, so
yeah,
like-
and I think he is well within his cups at this point. He is proper sloshed.
Have you been doing this regularly? Like,
Oh yeah, really.
okay,
regularly.
so I probably like come downstairs and seen you at the bar and been like, "Oh, you're probably like," and then come downstairs and you're still at the bar.
Yeah, in the same spot, and I haven't moved or changed or. Yeah.
So I'll probably just like sidle into a chair next to you.
I'll look up and I'll see you, and then I'll like as soon as I see that it's you, he looks down and like into his cup and doesn't look at you, and won't make eye contact.
Yeah, you ain't the only one who've done bad things, Griff.
Yeah, but I've done some real bad things now. I don't know if you'll ever forgive me. I don't know if I deserve forgiveness. Honestly, I don't know. What I did to Mac, what I did to you, it wasn't right. I was so full of anger and rage. I don't know.
Griff, can I tell you a story? When I was studying, a little bit after, there was a young doctor in my class. We graduated similar time. We were working together at the hospital, and there was a young lady come in, had trouble with birthing. It was too early. And this young doctor, well, the stress of everything had kind of gotten on top of him. And he'd found ways to mitigate that stress through the tinctures and tonics of his trade. Now, on that particular day, maybe that doctor, that young man, had taken a little bit too much of his medicine. And maybe if he hadn't, he might not have bungled the procedure that that young lady needed to survive. We all do bad things, Griff. But it ain't what you've done that you can change. It's about what you do going forward. Try and make it right.
For what it's worth, I think that doctor deserves to be forgiven for what he's done.
For what it's worth, Griff, I think you do too. I'm just gonna pat him on the shoulder, slide out of the chair, and then before I go up, I'll turn around, I'll pull up my flask, I'll look at Griff and say, we all carry scars. And then head back upstairs.
Excellent. Wonderful. Can you please make for me a psychology test?
Okay.
That
Okay.
was really great.
Yes, thank you. Skills.
A
I may
powerful
have
scene.
been holding on to that tiny part of history for a while.
I think I think that was very cool.
I will laugh if I fail.
All right. Would you like to spend 5 points?
5 points. Though.
Yeah, go on. I'll luck that one. I think it's a poignant enough moment that I get lucky.
Oh, perfect. Absolutely. You head upstairs, and the luck is that at that moment, Griff, when you turn back towards your drink, you happen to have just run out. You look up back towards the bar, and a thought occurs to you. Maybe it's just time to go to bed. I'll leave this in your hands. What is Griff?
No, I think he does. I think he pushes away the glass. The bartender goes for another drink, and Griff goes, no. Pushes away the glass and stands up and still very drunk, but stands up and makes his way to his room.
It's a hell of an ordeal to get up the stairs. It's a hell of an ordeal to wake up in the morning. But when you do, look, I think that for the time being, the mechanical effects of addiction will not apply to your character based on some recovery that you do for the remaining day.
I'll be honest. I think the doctor said, Waite said exactly what Griff needed to hear. Like that was almost word for word exactly what he needed.
I think the doctor said what we all needed to hear.
Yeah. Just yeah.
All right.
And in fact, I'll go by the doc the next morning and actually you go to knock and then he'll go, Doc keeps late hours. I'll let him sleep.
Yeah, you probably hear some shifting and sort of on the other side, but yeah, Doc. Doc always relies to some extent on laudanum as part of his sleeping thing. So when he's asleep, he's kind of not really with it. So you wouldn't get much answer. It takes a lot of to get him to wake up if he's decided he's having a nap.
Yeah. Okay. So fantastic. We'll jump away from the two of you for a second. I mentioned before, can I get the two law enforcement officials, Mac and Griff, to make for me your credit rating improvement checks?
I'd love
and
to.
then we'll talk about the news that starts coming into town. No dice, Mac. Sorry.
No, you want to fail.
I wanted to fail.
Oh, you want to fail? Oh, so many dice, Mac.
Hey.
Oh, you both failed.
Oh.
Excellent credit rating. Grease, you need this
deputy.
credit rating increase.
We're both making names for ourselves.
I've been making money hand over fist recently. I got more than I know what to do with.
Credit rating up to 21.
I think, has your credit rating doubled throughout this campaign?
I began at 5. It's
Now you're
like
at 21.
quadrupled. I mean,
Wait, because you went from not having a job to having a job.
yeah, no, I mean, it's been great recently. I mean, I got gainful employment. That's been real good. Doing all the law enforcement. That's been great. Yeah, no, really, just sky's the limit. It's been good.
Fantastic. So things have been pretty good. You're actually feeling a lot better, Griff, and your study is going well, Doc. And then, things rarely stay so happy for so long. So let's focus on the news that starts rolling into town. After you've been back in shade for about 2 weeks, you start to notice that there is an unusually dense collection of injured people who are coming through the town. And at first, this doesn't really feature much in your mind. The person who's selling snake oil at the edge of the town appears to be very happy with the situation and is constantly trying to hawk their wares, but none of the people are buying. This is a wide range of people too. You see everything from people struggling with the effects of what mine dust can do to the lungs, coughing up blood and hucking up black phlegm, to people missing legs, to people with scars or boils or disfigurations on their faces. Every kind of person with every kind of ailment that you can imagine is making their way through shade, and they all appear to be heading in the same direction. Now, I would like somebody to make a listen check for me, and whoever has the highest listen check can do it.
It's not me. I'm half deaf.
I mean,
Mine is 53.
it's yours by a lot.
Still, just over a 50% chance that I will even pay attention.
Ooh.
No, okay. Well, you're still over 50, so it's not a critical failure. Now,
I
that
am
means...
tunnel
It's the
vision.
second one of those we rolled in many.
Question. Okay, can I push this? And if so, what would the option be?
You hear over here, talk about medical stuff, and this is just your field of interest. You can head over to these people and basically listen in very obviously. They might get a little upset at you, but nothing too bad.
Yeah, I'll go be nosy. It is like my job. I still don't think I'm going to succeed, but I'm willing to try.
Hey, 50-50 basically. There you go.
Nice.
That
One
ain't right.
success.
Fantastic. You walk over pretty close and you have a listen to the two of them. And these folks are both appear to be miners of some sort. They both pause intermittently to cough pretty badly. One of them is whispering to the other, "You sure that this doctor he really can do anything? Because we spent a lot of money getting out here and a lot of time, and look, getting along that road, getting through those mountains on the way, I don't know if I got it in me to make it back." The other one's saying, "Yeah, no, you don't need to worry. He's great. He magic. I heard he raised the dead. I heard he done everything." You looks up at you, approaching now, Doc, and said, "Yeah, what you want, pencil neck?"
I couldn't help but overhear you were talking about some kind of miracle, Doctor. I happen to be in the same profession. Call it professional curiosity.
You're a doctor too? Well,
Quite a good one, yes.
listen, can you take a look at this? And he starts immediately lifting up his shirt to show you a rash across.
I'll take a look and just be like, "That looks like you got a heat rash there. You want to make sure you change your undergarments on the regular, maybe give them a wash."
Change my undergarments? What am I, some kind of prince of France? I don't need a second opinion.
Next, you be telling me to wash my hands before I eat. Like, what are you talking about?
I have tried to explain tiny demons to people before.
Nah, they don't get it.
The whole hand washing thing.
The other one says, well, listen, we're heading towards the doctor at the Scanlon Ranch. Say he's magic, they do. Some doctor living out there say he could raise the dead if he's had a mind to. And you know, you pay him enough, he'll do anything you need. Say he can bring back folks' legs.
This doctor wouldn't go by the name of Hackney, would it?
The one who you're speaking to shrugs, but the other one who appears to know, kind of know. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one, Dr. Hackney. And that fellow at the edge of the town who claims to be selling his formula. Oh, he's just a liar. You're a doctor. You should, professional standards, right? You should put a bullet in his head.
I mean, killing people ain't really part of the Hippocratic Oath. Not gonna lie.
It's fine. Take him to the dock and he'll be all right. See, that's the magic of it.
I like your. You should keep that faith. It's important when you're healing. Wanna keep that positive spirit up.
Thank you. I feel $1,000. He hacks up phlegm onto the table. I feel $1,000.
Can I tell if what either of them has is terminal?
Oh, make me a medicine check. Okay, a hard success. Without treatment, they probably would. They probably die. One of them might survive if they're lucky. With treatment, they've got a chance. It could be terminal. Doesn't necessarily have to be.
Do I have anything, like I usually have my bag with me, do I have anything that I could use?
You can treat these folks pretty well. What you know, they will need ongoing treatment, but so as you're sort of thinking that, so you're sort of, unless they're living on the Scanlon Ranch, and you know what they really want is they want to get up some high altitude where the lungs are going to be fortified. You know, they want to change their diets. They're going to want to be they seem to be more interested in a quick fix. And as you start trying to recommend all of this, they're saying to you again and again, no, it's all right. The doctor can fix anything.
You know, that's mighty interesting. Maybe I have to pay this man a visit, get some professional development. You know what I mean?
You'll do as you see wise.
You said Scanlon Ranch, right?
Yeah, Scanlon Ranch. It's out that way, or so I'm told. I've heard people got lost trying to find it.
Did they now?
Yeah.
That's a mighty useful piece of information. I thank you for that. So no one knows exactly where this place is?
Oh, I'm sure you can find some folks. And indeed, when you begin to sort of talk around town and share this with your companions, it's more that it's a bit of a hike. So people have got lost heading out there. Also, the people who are heading out there seem to be kind of sick. Many of them are missing legs. It's a hard trip. And there are people who are dying trying to get out there. But over the next couple of days, more and more people start to arrive in the town that have some kind of injury that is paining them. Do you share what you've heard with your companions?
Yeah, I think I'm, when we're all next together, which I don't know when that is, given the hours we all keep, but on the off chance we're all in the same place at the same time. Y'all have noticed there's a mighty large number of injured and sick folk in town recently?
I ain't noticed a damn thing. I've had my nose glued in a book for 3 damn days.
In a book? I'm proud of you, Grease. I didn't think you knew how to read. I've
been somewhat occupied.
I'm kidding, Grease.
Pencil neck.
Well, apparently there's a lot of folk coming through here on the way to a place owned by the Scanlon family, which may or may not ring a bell to you, Mac.
One of the gang.
Didn't we go out to their farm already? Wasn't that where or the two of you drew on that man when he was running away? Is that right?
Thinking the corral?
What's the difference?
We're the two of us.
Wasn't there a Scanlon we already dealt with? One of them ranchers or farm hands or something? Name
You
sounds
heard
familiar
the
as all.
name Scanlon mentioned before.
Right. We ain't been
but
there.
You have not specifically been there. No, this is more you picked up on this thread previously.
We've been to a few ranches.
My brain's full
and
of
we've
laws.
shot a
I
few
can't remember
people.
anything.
Shot a few people who were running.
With the one where you shot that guy, you're gonna have to be more
That
specific.
don't narrow a damn thing down. I shot a lot. Right.
Anyway.
So what's he doing?
Well, I'm not too sure specifically how the Scanlon ranch is involved, but folks mentioning a man by the name of Doc Hackney.
You know him?
Yeah, he told me everything I know. Before I actually know, he told me everything I know. Because he's the reason I went to medical school.
Right, so he's a good fellow. Knowledgeable sort.
Well,
Not if he's rolling with our Scanlon.
I'm sure it's just idle talk, but they're mentioning. They say he's some kind of miracle doctor, raising the dead.
Been a fair bit of that going around.
Yep. Not much of a stretch as it ought to be.
No, that's what I thought. Anyways, given he's a friend of mine, and there is a slight friction on the word friend. I was wondering if y'all wouldn't mind if we went up and took a look at what's going on.
Yes. I reckon we should. I reckon we should go soon. There's probably like to be a few days and it travel by the time we get there, look around, get back. I mean, Mac, this paperwork, I mean, hell, it's a lot. We made good progress. I reckon we better hand it over to someone else here and they can finish it off. Anything that's left when we get back, we'll clean that up.
If there's paperwork to do, we can put it off for a day or two. You can get that paperwork done before we head up.
No, it is
Well, no.
time critical in that it will take a long time, so we it ain't gonna last.
I think
Beauty of paper grease, it's light. You take it with you.
But yeah, I got a spare bag I can give you if you like. I think at this point, out of the corner of Joseph's eye, he's just eyeballing Mac. I got a bag I can give you, something you can throw over your shoulder, take everything with you. Would that suit Mac?
I think that'd be mighty fine. No lost time. Nothing to worry about there, Grease.
I'll get my pen.
All right. So the collection of you already have a destination in mind. You have another idea. You start to burst out, getting towards your rooms. And since you're running off to get a bag, Doc, and you're sort of tearing off to get your pan, Grease, Mac and Griff, the two of you are left for a second alone at the table, staring across at each other. This is sort of the first extended interaction you've had since the incident. How do the two of you react?
Nah.
So I think that scene had about as much powerful impact as the previous one.
There's a lot of sort of manly grunting, I think, of two old men who do not want to acknowledge it or have any sort of emotional connection. But Griff, at one point, Griff will get up and just give me a second. And I'll walk over to the fire, where I assume there is a place where people chop things with an
Absolutely.
axe, and
Absolutely.
like a log sitting cut side up.
Yeah.
He'll take his axe off and he'll embed it into the log, and then turn around and leave it there and walk back over, and he'll go, I'm sorry.
Nothing to be sorry for, I reckon.
I reckon there's a little more than nothing, but I appreciate you being the bigger man.
And the two of you share a nod, several more grunts, and then move out. You have a horse to saddle up. You have a destination in mind, and the next couple of hours pass, and you will be tearing outside the town, following alongside streams of sick folk, heading towards the Scanlon Ranch. Let's take a break there. We're going to be back in 10 minutes. We'll see you again soon. Welcome back, everybody, to the stream of chaos. When we left, our investigators were just riding out of Shade on their way to the Scanlon farm, where they think that a good doctor is trying to perform strange rituals or strange somethings to perform miraculous cures, and where they can track down Juliet Scanlon, member of the Green-Eyed Gang. Yes, Doc, what were you saying? Sorry?
Oh, good doctor? Not me.
Yes.
I'm not the good doctor that's doing bad things.
You're the bad doctor doing good things.
I love it.
There can be many doctors. All right. So the collection of you start riding out towards the Scanlon Ranch. And I say that there were streams of people going past. There's not streams. There's a lot of people, though. And as the collection of you ride, because, of course, you have horses provided by the folks at Shade, if you didn't already maintain the ones that you had, you are going to pass by groups of people who look wounded, who look hurt, and who are going on forward with hope in their eye. This is a little grim, but I would like each of you to describe for me one of the horrible injuries that is commonplace in the West. What's one of the unfortunate things that happens to people? Crushed limbs from mines, or black lung, or whatever. I think, Doc, you might be particularly skilled at this, so why don't you start? What's an injury that one could expect in the Wild West, and that one of the people that you were passing by might have as they are heading towards the Scanlon Ranch?
Would you like an awful one that I read about while researching this character?
Yes,
Sounds
please.
great.
There was a woman who had an ovarian tumor that was so bad that it was pushing her internal organs out. And so when they actually finally did surgery, her intestines spilled out first.
Oh, God.
I'd like to change my answer. No, I don't want to know that.
The better one, though, is at this time frame around that story, there ain't there's no anesthetic. All that shit was done awake and totally copus. And apparently she recovered really well, went back home, and went back to the farm like a couple of weeks later. And that was it. Made a full recovery. But yes, definitely horrifying distended tumors would be one of the ones that you'd probably see, because that's the thing that they weren't very good at diagnosing until they were enormous, and then they had to tourniquet them with rope before cutting them off and shit like that.
Okay, well, I think that we got enough descriptions there. I think that no one else needs to jump in.
Aww.
As you were riding along the road...
Lame.
Wait.
Oh, did you have a good one?
I have another historical one.
I also have a historical one.
All right, let's do
But
it.
it might be the
It's
same
Call of
one.
Cthulhu. I'll roll sanity. You
Actually,
go first.
there's a good chance it is the same one.
All right. So as a railway worker
Yep, damn it.
blasting rock. All right. Puts some. When you're blasting rock, you put gunpowder in a hole. You put sand in. You tamp the gunpowder down. You forgot to put the sand in, so he just tamped in a metal rod and some gunpowder. There was an explosion, tiny explosion right in front of him, and the metal spike he was drilling in landed 50 feet away, and the only thing between where the metal spike was and where it landed was his skull. So it passed through his nose and came clean out the other side. They picked him up, put him in a wagon, put him in bed, and he woke up a few hours later and went on to live a happy life. But I guess that's still in the future. I think there's probably someone walking along
It's
to the
pretty
doctor's
recent. Yeah.
doctor's office, maybe perhaps with a metal railway spike still in his head.
Embedded,
Oh my
sticking out
God.
one side.
Yeah.
We did that
That
one
would
in
amuse me
Psych.
terribly.
It did because the whole thing was he basically didn't. His personality hardly changed.
That's
he was
it,
still
yeah.
perfectly intelligent,
Well, no, I think
which is
I think it
insane.
was different.
Parts of the brain that were
His brain function was fine, but his personality completely
That was
changed.
it. Sorry.
He made a full recovery, but he was suddenly where
Which
he'd
is
previously been quite happy. He was now
bizarre.
very grumpy all the time.
Oh, I feel like he could be grumpy and have a good reason for it. I want to see the doctor sitting around going, the guy who got a metal spike through his brain just doesn't seem as happy as
Chin
he
up,
once
mate.
was, you know?
Why being a
feels really-
sook?
He's just putting a downer on everything. You know what? If anyone has,
Yeah, I mean, this is the period in time where ice pick lobotomies were a thing.
Oh yeah. Unfortunately, tragically, that continued for
Way too long.
I think in the 1960s they were still happening.
Yeah.
Lovely.
There's some very strange.
I'd forgotten about that art. Yeah, that's my one.
Yeah. Oh
Someone's
God.
got half a brain leaking out their ear.
Jackson stole my one, so I'm doing the same one, but the iron barb rebounded off and went back through his skull a second time.
Tragic.
Trick shot.
Man, real life in the West was more horrifying than any Cthulhu monster. It is.
It's not called the Mild
Oh.
West.
Good
Nice.
God. All right. So, look, the point is here that you're passing by people who are pretty injured, and you pass by them every, say, couple of hours, you'll pass by another group of people. And it seems like these folks are really pinning all of their hopes on getting to the Scanlon Ranch. I want to ask, do you believe this? Do you think they're going to get cured? Grease, you do. What
Yes,
about you?
absolutely. These things will come back from the dead. He will kill them or something, and they will come back. There is no doubt in my mind.
So does this make him
None.
straight up evil?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Great. What about the rest of you? Is this a bad thing? Is this clearly someone doing a scam? Is this what's on your mind?
Griff has the attitude of very much it's a Schrodinger's cat situation where maybe he is and maybe he isn't, but until he sees it, he doesn't know. But as soon as it is revealed to him, he will go, all right, it was true.
Okay.
And if it is revealed to be a lie, he'll go, it was a lie. He is quite happy to believe it either way.
All right.
He has no idea what Schrodinger's cat is, though.
Okay. Well, Schrodinger's cat is actually a horrible old West medical procedure where after you get the railway spike through their head, you go, are they dead? Are they not dead? And technically, they're in a horrible state between where demons are real and they're trapped in the old West in a Down Darker Trails game. Speaking of which,
You learn something new every day.
so the days and nights roll on. It's hard travel, but the collection of you are used to it. You have spent a lot of time traveling in pretty harsh terrain. Most recently, you were climbing mountains, and when you were up near the mines, near one of the other towns, San Rafael, I believe, you were completely cut off from society. So traveling along to what is relatively good cattle grazing and farmland isn't too bad. You just have to go cross country for a long while. All the same, I'd like to have somebody make me a navigation check just to see how much comfort and how much style you're doing this in.
Or
I
yours.
believe that's me from memory. I'm the navigator.
I'm the survivalist, you're the navigator. That's how we played it.
I fix mistakes.
Well, hey,
And we make a lot of them, so you are quite a busy doctor.
Unfortunately, fortunately, this is not one of those times. You managed to navigate pretty quickly. The safest way to do this would be to head alongside one of the rivers or stick close to a local landmark and then use that as an orienteering point. But you feel pretty confident that you can keep your cardinals. So you head straight across the desert, and after a couple of days, you will come close enough to the Scanlon Ranch that you start to see in the distance the shimmering haze of buildings. It appears that you are arriving on time and that you will soon be able to find out the truth of all this. Doc, what's on your mind? What do you want to ask your former mentor? What's the reason for all of this?
Well, I have half a memory that maybe I wanted to make amends for something, but I don't entirely remember what that is anymore.
Your mind has been, well, damaged by the journey that you took so far, and there are certain emotions that no longer register in you. Perhaps the drive that originally took you here is unfamiliar to you now. Still, you know you have to see the doctor in some way, and at the very least, Juliet Scanlon is here, presumably, and that is the last roaming member of the Green Knight gang, aside perhaps from their leader. So you continue on and you start to head towards the ranch proper. As you're riding, you will eventually arrive at a large fence. It is a little higher than you would have for cattle, and it's basically made up of just a couple of sticks and wires, enough to deter and mark land, but not really enough to do anything more than that. There is a sign written at the front, sort of put over the fence, and it says, "Patience, wait here." You can stare up ahead and you can see the farmhouse in the distance, maybe 2 hours ride shimmering on the horizon. You could just bypass this relatively easy and continue straight ahead, but the sign does appear to be telling you not to.
Are there any patients waiting here?
Make a luck check.
Wow, I don't
Do
like
we
the
want
sound
them
of
to
that.
be or do we not?
Schrodinger's patience.
Yes, we are lucky.
Okay, which would you like? Would you like there to be some patience there or not?
I feel like no, right? We don't want to. I think we're going to ride ahead, and we don't want
Yeah.
any complications with them thinking we're going to cut in line or whatever.
Okay, fantastic.
That's what I think.
Well,
Feel free to fight me, anyone.
Doug, this is your play. What do you want to do? You want to stay around here and wait like we're patients, or you want to just walk up?
So both Art and Doc's mind has just gone to the pun of patience, and he's struggling slightly, so forgive me momentarily.
No, I like
I mean, if it was just dark, then I'd feel comfortable riding up. But given he's on someone else's land, I'm not sure whether we should go ahead or just wait till they come out. I'm torn.
Supposing we're not patients, no need to wait.
Okay.
I guess we're not disobeying the signs. We ain't patients, so we don't have to wait here.
All right. So you bypass the sign. You basically have to lead your horses. There's a small gate, and you can get through. And you start to head along, riding across the flat expanse. There's cacti and little bursting bits of plant life. You're starting to head into the greener areas of the desert. And even though everything is very harsh and bristly, it is a damn sight nicer than some of the areas you've traveled through previously. As you ride along, you spot, after about half an hour's riding, a group of figures that appear to be coming from further to the east. Now, you're heading north, essentially, and I'm going to do a very poor drawing. I want you to imagine this large square as a map in front of the collection of you all, right? The ranch is just up here, and you're heading straight up from the bottom, trying to get towards it. Now, this group appears to be coming from the side, on a direct route to intercept you. There's no response from them, but they're making a beeline straight for you.
Are there paths or roads?
There's no paths. You're going straight across country here.
Okay.
If you want to take any steps to, prepare yourself for the arrival of this group, you can. Otherwise, they're just here riding towards you. You can just wait for them to get close.
How many of them?
Yeah.
There are, make a spot hidden check for exact details, but a couple.
Bada bing. Hard success.
All right. There's about 4 of them.
No
With
issue
a hard
then.
success, can you tell us whether they're armed?
They look like they're armed. One of them at least has a rifle slung over their back.
They got a rifle, but they ain't carrying it open.
All right.
Can I borrow your binoculars?
I was just gonna say, Kristanakis didn't come with a badge.
Paperwork sure as hell did.
I don't want to cause any trouble if they're going to ask us to turn around and leave. I'm happy to have a conversation with them.
I'm
Well, they ain't coming
confident
from
that,
the ranch.
and I reckon this little fella outranks their dinky sign. So, rock and roll.
Well, I mean, if you don't mind maybe slowing down, making it look like we're willing to wait for them.
Sure.
I agree. Let's slow down, make it look like we're willing to talk, if that's what they want.
Okay. So
Make
collection
them come to us.
The collection of you slow down, and the crew that are riding over approach you. You get close, and they look like ranchers. They have weapons on them. The one at the front, who is an older man with his hair tied back, has a rifle slung over his back. But the others all just have cattleman revolvers. They pull up their horses and nod at you. Now, all of them visibly have the same kind of family heritage. They all look very, very similar, dark complexions. And the one at the front is going to raise a hand to you and speak with quite strong Spanish accent and say, "Can you read the sign? You got to wait out there."
Yeah, we read it, and we ain't patients.
Not patients? Well, then you're trespassing on my land.
No, this here is a friend of the good Dr. Hackney. We're here to see him.
Yeah, and that doctor and everyone at the Scanlon ranch can go ahead and die. You're on Romero land. We own this whole strip in between, and you're trespassing. And I see that badge, unless you got a warrant, which at this time is required for you to go into their property. Technically, it's a little bit of a gray area, and a lot of the rules around searches at this warrantless searches at this point are pretty vague. You'd have to make a law check. They seem cross.
Can I dig? I like into the pocket just under the badge. I start pulling out paperwork.
Oh yeah,
I'm not gonna say anything, and it's Max play if he wants it. But I've got fuckloads of Marshall stamped paperwork.
Oh my god! So you spot this ruse in place. You can see Grease immediately starts folding out paperwork.
Well, as I said, not here to arrest anyone yet. We just want to see the doctor. Are we going to find him if we keep riding?
The man at the front, Vincente, kind of leans back on his horse and says, "Well, how about this? We ride back to where the sign is, and then we can have a conversation. I don't like others on my land."
Ain't no point in that. We had a long, hard day riding. We're not going backwards now.
All right.
Might I ask, if you don't mind, so what's the usual process for patients back at the sign? Do they have to fill out some paperwork? Do they need to, pay for the pleasure of crossing your land? What is the process?
Vicente looks across the collection of you, and one of the others spurs his horse forward, leans in, and starts to talk in rapid-fire Spanish. Do any of you speak Spanish?
Nope.
Not a lick.
Then you are treated to probably about 20 seconds.
Wait, is Spanish a Latin-based language?
It is a Romance language, yes. If you, what's your score in Latin? What's your score in it?
35.
35 will not be enough to give you access, I'm afraid. You catch the word federales just because that is a word that is
well known.
Well known. And they talk probably for about 20, 30 seconds. And then Vicente kind of smiles and nods a few times. He turns back and he says, "All right, then, go ahead. Head over to them. They're up to something, I'll tell you. They got all kinds of dodgy. I reckon some of them been doing some banditry. They definitely been stealing from us, killing our cattle and the like."
So they're living on your land without permission?
No, it's well, I suppose the law would call it a border dispute. We own most of the area that surrounds them. They have the right to move in and out across a very particular section that we define, but we own most of the farmland in the area. They're a smaller, think of them as parasitic farm.
And you think they've been taking your cattle?
Well, we know they have. They've been not taking it. We know they've been killing our cattle.
Why ain't you talk to the marshal or sheriff of the area?
Well, we deal with these kind of things ourselves. Plus, the sheriff likes them, or that's to say, doesn't like us.
Well, we'll keep that in stride, but we better mosey on.
Just
I
quickly.
guess to bring this to attention.
Yeah, so Vicente kind of moves his horse to one side, motioning you past. Grease, did you have something you wanted to ask?
Yeah, hang on. What made you change your mind? I mean, why are you sharing this information with us now? I mean, I'll be clear. We reckon those fellas are suspicious as well. We were never going to hassle you.
I'm
just saying, ain't no point in lying. We're already suspecting them. Don't make up claims that ain't true. We're looking to get we're gonna have poke around already. Just tell it straight.
The Vicente kind of nods. Can you make a charm or a persuade check?
Yeah, hell, I can persuade.
Mm-hmm.
Badonk.
Yep. Oh, okay. Yeah, Vicente nods a few times and then says, look, the bottom of the line is that we've had that sign there to stop hordes of sick folks from traipsing across our land. And we've put the sign up there so we can charge folks for the right to enter.
Fair enough.
The collection of you, I say we have a distrust of the law around here. But the collection of you seem pretty straightforward.
What do you charge folks to cross the land?
Pardon me?
What do you charge folks to cross the land?
Depends how sick they are and how much money they got. Much as we can get.
You're a scumbag.
Well,
unfortunately, that ain't illegal. I've checked.
Grease, he's trying to make a living out here, same as the rest of us.
He's taking advantage of injured folk. That's a different thing.
If that doctor wanted to be in a city, he'd have a lot more patience.
Sorry, what is the average going rate for a patient crossing your land?
Couple of dollars.
How about I give you 15 and we call it even?
Call it even for the collection of you?
Go there, go back?
Yeah, that'll smooth things over nicely.
My spending limit is 25. I will give
All right,
you.
perfect. You hand over $15.
Money talks.
And he hands it to the person who was talking to him. They talk back and forth to each other in Spanish a little more, and then the collection on, they move their horses and they start to ride away. Vicente will pause for just a moment and will say, I'm serious. They're dangerous folks. We've crossed paths with them before. They'll take pot shots at us. We take pot shots at them. You don't want to get involved or nothing, if you can.
As it happens, we're dangerous too.
All right. Oops. I'm glad to. Oh, dear.
Oh, no. Did I just break everything?
Well,
no, you teleported behind them.
We are all swapping characters.
I sincerely apologize.
I
like disconnecting my camera.
I like to think it's a standard anime thing where you say, I'm dangerous too, and you teleport, and suddenly we're all Let's fix this.
Are we going to do everyone just DC quickly? Yeah. Jackson first. Tricky. And there was a little behind the scenes peek. Let's go.
Okay.
Who's to say what mystical apparatus we used to teleport?
That was very seeing the Wizard of Oz pulling the fucking.
Okay. Well, we're back then, and the collection of riders look terrified at you as you blur in between horses, and then they nod and they let you go, and the collection of you continue riding towards the Scanlon ranch. It takes about another hour before you arrive at the ranch proper. And when you get there, you can see that the ranch is basically at full capacity. There are tents set up around the outside with small campfires, and there are a lot of folks around, many of whom look pretty sick. They are waiting, and there's the occasional sound of either coughing or the sound of some people playing instruments passing the time. The house itself stands in the middle of this island of tents. There must be perhaps 40 or 50 people out surrounding the place, so it's pretty crowded. You find a gate and lead your horses in, and everybody around is looking towards the collection of you. You're clearly a little better off than the standard folks that come this way. Before long, someone from inside the house is going to notice the collection of you, and an older woman is going to step out and observe the collection of you and then come down. She's wearing a sort of neat dress and her hair is tied back. She comes before the collection of you and nods and says, "Well, hello there. Are you here to see the doctor?" "No,
Yes.
you've got badges on. You, what? You're with
We're here to see the doctor.
here to see the doctor. Doctor ain't gonna see anyone from the law."
I ain't from the law.
"Yeah, well, you're riding with him." She looks across the collection of you and is immediately on edge and suspicious.
Why is that? Got something to hide?
"I don't got to say nothing to you."
I'm terribly sorry, ma'am. Could you please let the doctor know that Joseph Waite is here and would like a word?
I can pass that message, but the lot of you gotta wait outside, back at the sign. That's not our land. Y'all can't stay. Y'all ain't staying on our land.
All right. Well, if it makes you feel more comfortable and you're happy to pass a message, I'm happy to go back and wait where. Give you peace of mind, of course, ma'am.
All right, and don't you two, and she points at the collection of you wearing badges, don't you two go coming back here.
Ma'am, for what it's worth, I do have an injury I wouldn't mind looked at.
She looks towards you and kind of frowns. Can you make a persuasion check?
Yeah, I can try. Give it a red hot go.
I mean, 2 weeks of healing, y'all have still got like.
That is an actual critical failure. All right, I'll leave as quickly as I can.
God, critical failure. So you do your best. And she starts to fume and she says, "Well, injury. I'll give you an injury if you don't get off my land right now. All of you out. I don't want to see you back again. If the doctor wants to see you, Mr. Waite, and he'll have to go out himself."
It's Dr. Waite, ma'am, and I look forward to hearing from you, and I'll turn my horse around to that and start making my way back.
Okay. So the collection of you turn and you begin to ride back out. She fumes, spins on her heel, and walks back into the house. The collection of you can all share a glance. Now, you come outside of the small gate, and there's a pretty clear distinction between when the Scanlon property starts and the Romero property starts. You've got this secondary fence, and as soon as you come back out, you are aware that you're back on Romero land. Are you going to ride all the way out? What are you going to do here? You can see these crowds of people. A lot of them are looking at you curiously. You can see the approximate shape of the property. There's the large ranch in the center, and you can see a couple of areas where cattle are being kept.
I know what I'm gonna do, depending on how long this takes.
Sure. Well, at the minute you're just all gathered together right outside the gate.
Cast your spell on them.
And there's people out here, right?
There's people out here that are watching you sort of curiously, but if you wanted to say slip in, none of them might be brave enough to say a word, or alternatively, you could do like a loop. The property is also big enough that you could ride along the outskirts to a different part of the Romero ranch and sort of come in from there if you would like.
Well, I reckon we made friends with the Romeros. No reason to ride all the way outside their land. Might as well wait here.
I agree.
Mac, are these badges glued on, or can I pop it off?
You can take it off anytime you like. Won't get any protests from me.
All right, I take it off and I pocket it. And I'm also going to lose the jacket for the time being, roll up my sleeves, and get off the horse. I plan to go in just as a... I'm going to do some spying.
You got a bandana?
Yeah, I got it right here. I just nipped it out of the way. Rock. What do you reckon? I mean, I reckon I'll go in and have a little look around, do some spy shit. Sound good?
What now?
I'd offer to come with you, Grace, but I think they recognize me. I tried that once, and she seemed to not like me very much.
I'm just a little feller. They don't really notice me half the time. I'll go in, have a little talk, see what's going on.
You look a lot more convincing if you had an injury.
I can.
Don't you threaten me, you big mountain dickhead. No, I mean, I don't need an injury. I'll say I'm here with my mother or something, and she needs care, and I'll just point at whatever person looks the most gingerest.
Well, I suppose there's a good chance they're hiding something.
Yeah, and I mean, if things get worse, I'll pull the gun and I'll pull the badge. Whichever one they're more afraid of, I'll wield.
All right. Perfect.
Can I start? I wanna walk around through these people and ask them how long they've been waiting here.
So you, just to be clear, so you've stepped outside the land for now, so you're on the other side of the fence. If you want to be walking around,
we're on Romero property now.
You're
right?
on the Romero property, and there is no one camped here. Everyone that is camped is on the Scanlon property. So
okay. So they're on the inside. I'm with you now.
They're on the
with
inside.
you.
You've been kicked out. You can walk along like the fence. Like it's close enough that some of them are camped right at the fence line. You could literally be leaning across and talking from the other side. But I just want to make that clear that you're not actually able to walk.
Okay. All right. So if I walk into the property, like I'm like I'm going against their will.
You walked in, and basically the moment you got through the gate, this woman came out and said, "Get the hell out!" And
oh, okay, sorry, I thought we went up to like the property or something. No, okay, I get you. We're on the outside. All right, I'm with you now. All right, well, I'm gonna cut a lap and see if I can see anything.
Okay, you're gonna go on a big old lap around the property. Easy. Is anyone going with Griff, or otherwise Grease? You're heading inside. Griff, you are doing a lap. Mac and Doc.
I think I'd rather wait with the doc, see what Hackney has to say.
All right. So the two of you want to set up a camp?
Suppose might as well.
Yes, we'll get comfortable. Maybe.
Do you think we'll be here that long?
I hope not.
Might as well get a head start in case we're not as welcome as we think.
The collection of you are used to sleeping pretty rough. So the opportunity to actually set up a relatively nice camp is a welcome luxury. You get down, you set up a fire, and it's a little green here. You can sit in the shade of some of the larger rocks. It's nice, really. Meanwhile, the other two of you, I would like, Grease, I would like you to make either a stealth check for me, and that is the idea that you find a convenient part of the fence and then just whoop straight through and start strolling. Or I would like you to go really, really, really far away and make a climb check, and that is you find a particularly inhospitable part and like climb over there and make your way back.
Yeah, got it.
Now, Griff, you can just wander around the outside without making any checks, but are you keeping an eye out for anything in particular?
I'm just looking for something suspicious, but I don't know what I expect to find. None of them it's the middle of the day. No one's gonna be cattle rustling at this time, so I ain't got no clue what I'm really looking for.
Okay, so you're just doing the loop because you may as well.
Because I don't want to be sitting still for too long.
Okay, make me a spot hidden check as you go around.
I will.
Meanwhile, what have you decided to make?
I ain't fishing for a role, to be clear, but I do have a couple points in disguise. I reckon I've rustled up my hair a few times, and I know the basics of what they're going to be looking for. So I'm going to give you a stealth.
Disguise check.
No, I do not want to roll disguise. I'm just saying I got it. You can have 8 points.
8 points of luck. Okay, you managed to duck under just as, at the perfect point. Unfortunately, someone is coming right out from their tent at the wrong time, and you freeze, but they don't notice you. And you're able to walk back into the campsite proper and begin to stroll around.
Very good.
These people are sick. They're killing time. They don't look well. As you're walking through, you can see people occasionally coming out of the house, and they look like ranch hands of some sort. There is definitely a delineation between the people who are in the house and who are camping outside, and there seems to be a moat of tension. The ranch hands are keeping their distance from the crowd of people in the tents. Is there anything you're looking for?
Yeah. I'm happy to kind of extend the window of time here. I don't think I'm working in minutes, but the first thing I'm going to do is I want to park down next to a couple of people and strike up an novel conversation, and I want to go, so, I mean, how many of y'all are actually getting out healed? You seen anyone? Much healthier? Laid eyes on a miracle.
Yeah, I done laid eyes on a miracle. Done laid eyes on a man ain't had a leg for 20 odd years, come back out dancing a jig. I seen the miracles, and we just gotta wait.
How long you been waiting for?
Me, I've been waiting now on a week now. Some people been waiting here longer. It all depends, you know. The doc say he's got he's busy like, and he don't take people often. When he does, well, you know, sometimes people come out cured.
How long do they spend in that house? What's the curing time?
Well, it depends. Sometimes, you know, some of them stay in there for a couple of days. Some of them still in there getting treatment. sometimes treatment don't take, and the hands bury them.
Right. Thanks for your time. You guys got a pot or something set up? Stew? Anything to eat?
Yeah, we got some food, but you know, we don't got much. So if you have anything to give in return, we mighty appreciate it.
I appreciate it as well. I'll see you around. I want to walk past it, and I want to surreptitiously upend the contents of my miracle tonic into their stew.
Make a sleight of hand check.
Look at him.
Yay!
Oh, what?
So
Hope it wasn't poison.
This is so good. Glug, 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 glug.
Their leg just goes ding.
Yeah. Is that sage? No, it's
delicious.
Great. So you upend the contents of the miracle mixture inside the pot. You don't know what it'll do, but soon after you're on your way. And you can see the soup is going to be served out just shortly.
Delicious.
Now, Griff, you started riding around the outside of the area. And as you do, you made a spot hidden, and you really did not notice much. You get around the entire property. It is big. There's a creek that goes through the middle, and it appears to be sort of the more formal border between the two properties. But you're pretty sure that the Romero Ranch then has slowly over time extended. They've gotten more and more land, and it's come around like the pincers of a crab, bypassing the sides of the river until it is surrounding entirely the Scanlon property. The Scanlons appear to have they have less land, but it's probably a little better. There's more equipment, I suppose you would say. The fences are in better condition. They appear to keep cattle, whereas the Romero Ranch is a lot larger, and you can see some areas have been devoted to farming or to more formal graze lands, and they have a wider variety of animals. Unless you want to do anything.
I was just taking a look, and I failed. Like I just needed to be moving. I'm happy with that.
Okay. As you turn back and you're riding towards the entrance to the Scanlon Ranch where your companions are, another figure on horseback is going to start approaching you. Eventually, you stop to allow them to get close, I presume.
Yep, and I sort of do a.
Yep, they'll wave back.
It's like I don't have a weapon. I'm peaceful. Whatever.
Yeah, easy. A young man rides over and nods at you. He has the same familiar resemblance as Vicente, the man who you saw before, but he seems to have a lot more cheerful demeanor. He raises a hand in greeting and says, "Oh, hey, I sorry, are you from the Scanlon Ranch?" If you technically you need to stay outside where the sign is. If my father catches you, he'll be rather cross.
Oh, sorry. I was just trying to find the entrance to the place.
Well, not a problem. I can lead you there. It's just around, and he points back to where you know it is because.
Oh, all right. Why don't you? Thanks, young man. I do appreciate that.
Well, not a problem. My name's Gustavo. What's yours?
Oh, I'm Griff. It's a pleasure to meet you, young man. What is your relation to the old man?
Oh, he's my father. I was born here. I worked here. Me and my brothers, we run the place as best we can.
Your dad seems to think that these folk are up to something. Any you know what that might be about?
Yeah. Well, there's been some disputes. Can you make either make me a psychology test, or I'm going to want a charm test just to sort of be friendly.
Yep, that's fair. Griff isn't the best at those things, and I'm probably playing it a little bit too. Let's go with charm.
All right.
In that it is 5 points better because the base of charm is 5 points above the base of psychology.
Nice.
Ooh, yeah, that is nowhere close. See, I am like, where's your father? Why does your father hate these people? Like, why?
The old rivalries. You know how it is.
But why?
I think. Kid,
I am trying to be nice to you. Tell me why he hates them.
They shot some cows.
I'm being so charming. This is me when I'm trying to be nice. I don't understand what's going wrong. Okay, they shot some cows. Look, I think that's look. I have not played to my strengths here, so I am happy to get what I got, and I'm gonna return to the front gate, chagrined, I guess.
Okay. So you return to the front gate and you can see your companions are still camped outside. Mac and Doc, have the two of you done anything? Doc, I presume you're glancing at the house at least once in a while, but you have seen no sign of the lady who shooed you off or of your mentor approaching.
Is this guy gonna be happy to see you? You reckon?
I don't know. I think so.
How'd you leave things last time you saw him?
You know, you got like your friends, and if things don't go so well, it's a bit like it can be a bit hard. Sometimes you lose that friendship, sometimes you don't, but it's pretty straightforward. Things change, and that's fine. And then you've got your family, where things just kind of complicated. Doc's kind of like that sort of complicated.
All right. Well, I reckon things get pretty complicated in the big cities, but when you come out here in the West and the loneliness takes you over, odds are pretty good that you'll just remember the good things. Keep that in mind.
I think you mistake me and my upbringing, Mac. I was born on a frontier town. Doc's a frontier doctor. It's the reason I know how to do certain things I do. He started teaching me. Well, he let me in the surgery when I wouldn't stop sticking my nose over the windowsill every afternoon, keeping an eye on what was going on. I found it kind of funny. I think I was about 5. He took me in, let me kind of hold string and watch things happen after he realized he couldn't get rid of me. He tried shooing me first, didn't work. And then I got older and he showed me more, and then eventually he said, I think you make a good go of it. Go get to the big city. So I did. He pulled some old favors, I think. Moved some money he had laying around. And, well, so that's why I do what I do. That's why I'm as good as I am. You don't get good being a doctor if you start in the city. You only get good when you ain't got nothing and you still gotta fix folk. So, yeah.
Well, no sense speculating.
Yeah.
Suppose we just wait and see if he comes out.
Well.
All right. So at about this point, Griff, you return and you nod at your companions, settle yourself in at the campsite. Grease, meanwhile, you've continued to walk through. You've seen the soup be consumed, and to your immense surprise, or maybe not immense surprise, the miracle tonic does not appear to be doing all that much.
Slow acting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you'll give it some time. Give it some time. You'd best. But if there's anything else you want to do, you might want to. You could probably have time to do that. You don't need to be in constant surveillance.
At the very least, pouring some unknown substance into the sick people's soup, it can't have hurt them.
Oh no, absolutely not.
So they can only go up. Yeah. I want to break and enter. I want to go get in their house. The people that are working here, the farmhands, uniforms, team t-shirts.
They don't have uniforms as much as they all have very similar clothes.
Nice.
But you could, I'll tell you what, let's make a disguise check. Can you try and rough up your clothes to look a little similar?
Yeah, let's rock and roll. Oh fuck, that's doable. You can have 14.
14 points of luck. I will take it and thank you. You just so happen to be wearing the right color of shirt, and you tuck it in just the right way and sling up your sleeves and start bustling into the house. You try and do your best to avoid going in at the same time as some of the other ranch hands, but eventually you're let into the bottom floor. This is a large ranch. The bottom is kind of half. There's this weird combination of family home and like mess hall or something like that. There's an enormous dining room, and you can see where people would all be sitting at this massive long table eating together. There's also a sitting room. A staircase leads up to a second floor, which looks like it's more residential, and you can see people bustling around at the bottom. You start to catch a couple of people's eyes. One of the figures is a middle-aged woman who smiles at you as you're approaching. She looks down at your pants, which are incorrect. You're wearing the sort of same kind of slacks that Mac does, and she kind of nods at them and says, "Oh, those are nice. Where'd you get those?"
Thanks. They didn't have ones short enough for my legs, so I got to bring them from home.
Oh, okay. Well, wonderful. The food should be being served soon.
I appreciate that.
Wipe your boots. I don't want to have to redo all the floors.
Oh, yeah, not a problem. I'll go scuff them up in just a moment. Listen, one of them fellas down there is yakking in my ear on and on. Keeps on wanting to know when they're going to get a chance to get in and see the doc. Anything I can tell him? Let him know, things are moving on. He's going to be in there soon.
You'll have to talk to the Scanlon family. Right. I think it is insane that we are entertaining all of this. It is just.
I mean, it's shocking, and it's part of it just ain't. I mean, a big fella upstairs can't be happy.
Make me a charm check.
Got it. Do you want fast talk? They're the same damn number. I'll roll whatever you want.
No, make a charm check.
4 to 5. Where?
All right. So she hesitates.
I'm willing for 20, maybe.
Okay, so she
20, going once, going twice.
You start saying that, and she's nodding along, and then you say the big fella
man upstairs.
And she hesitates, and you think, okay, this has thrown her off somehow. And you immediately remember that the person who came out to you was a woman and is presumably the head of the household. Now, of course, fella upstairs could refer to God, and you can leap in and try and.
That was my intent as well.
That was your intention? Okay, in which case, she's not going to pick you up on that, but she is looking a little kind of weirded out. You can basically make your excuses and leave, and there'll be no penalty. You just won't be able to continue in this space. You'll have to move to a different part of the house or rush outside. More likely rush outside. It'll be a bit hard to avoid Elena as she continues around. Otherwise, you can push this roll and luck it, and she'll just be put at ease, and you'll have the run of the bottom floor. But if you fail, she'll be on to you. And
I would like to push it.
Okay, please give us a push.
Shit.
Oh.
You got 5 better.
Yeah.
You know we can't talk about. I ain't seen you before around here. You're not from out there,
I start
are you?
backing towards the door.
She starts. She goes to sort of yell, "Get out!" And then kind of walks forward and says, kind of just hisses at you, "Get out! Get out! You're going to get us all in trouble."
Hisses, you say?
Is there a set of stairs to the upstairs that I can see?
Yeah, there is a set of stairs you can see that head to the second floor.
I want to sprint for them.
Okay, you nod a few times and then you turn and
go.
Floor and
I
go
run.
past. Make me a sleight of hand check just as you kind of bustle past completely.
Sure. Nice.
Oh, okay. Now you have above 50, so that is not a critical failure. You try and you try to edge past as best you can. She throws out a hand to stop you. Now you can push this. You will, if you fail, you will barge into this woman and functionally have attacked her.
I don't want to attack her. I just want to get up there. Hell, there ain't no way that I could be caught if I fail, rather than damaging her.
I'll tell you what. Your other option is you can't get past her to get to the bottom of the stairs. So your other option is scale up the side of the stairs and flip yourself over. Now
Like
you'll
a
be in an
lizard.
incredibly vulnerable, dumb position as you try to climb over. So you might just get tugged back down and kicked out of the house. So if you want to push this with a climb, you can. And the failure will be that you are caught rather than injuring someone.
Oh, the dice don't want it. The dice do not want it. I will push it with climb.
Okay.
You fool.
This has been a hella pushing.
All right.
Oh, wasn't sure about that. I really wasn't.
And you were darting up the
Okay.
stairs, and suddenly you're on the top floor. Now it is incredibly pretty up here, I suppose. Everything is neatly placed, and there are plump cushions and fine paintings. There's a lovely grandfather clock to one side, which faintly ticks. Lovely wooden tables. Everything is really nice and calm. And there is a smell like no other. A kind of burning smell. The only thing you can liken it to is not liken. It is exactly the same smell that you often whiff coming from the doctor's various equipment vials when he goes and tries to synthesize all kinds of bizarre things. You can see the scent is clearly coming from what looks like a painting room, sort of off to one side. Otherwise, you can just see bedrooms and everything like that. You can hear movement downstairs. You are going to be pursued, but you can dart anywhere that you would like upstairs. You can see 2 bedrooms. One looks like a master bedroom. One looks like sort of a small secondary bedroom, like a twin bed sort of situation. Otherwise, there's the largest studio room. Otherwise, you could go straight out the window and book it straight back down and try and just vanish. Essentially,
Do one of the bedrooms look like they're empty?
You would not be able.
I feel confident. I tear into one of the bedrooms and I slam the door shut behind me. As I'm doing it, I'm hopping up onto one leg as I try to pull my boot off and get over towards the window. My intent to throw the window up, hoof the boot as the woman's getting close so that it sounds like I've left, and then scurry under the bed so that I can stay here indefinitely without being seen, let the whole place cool down a bit, and then continue operation whatever I'm doing.
I love it. Which room did you pick? The master bedroom or the smaller one?
Smaller.
Okay, so you dart into the.
If it had a window, I need a window for my plan.
Yeah, or you couldn't really see inside, but you act on instinct.
There'll be a window.
You get to the door, you push through, and you are into the room, and there is no one in here. You shut the door. Whip up the window. You can make a hard stealth check to try and throw someone off, or a hard stealth check or a throw check to try and get this boot. Meanwhile, the collection of you are sort of staring at the house, wondering where Grease is, and you see his shadow.
The window open.
The door opens, and he's pulling off his boots, and he falls onto the bed, and he gets back up, and he's got the boot in his hand. So if the collection of you want to do anything, now is the time.
You
I
think
guess-
he needs our help, Marshall?
I don't know about our help. I think he needs to get himself out of that mess.
Do we put this down as a learning opportunity?
Let's just monitor the situation.
I've been putting him down to learning opportunities for a number of years now. He ain't learned shit.
He is a dumb one. And that's coming from me.
I think you've been talking long enough that we.
Yeah, wait, I don't think
You see the boot go.
Oh, look, there he is.
I think
there he goes.
people, like eyeballing the window. Like if we've seen him, Doc's not going to take his eyes like off too.
Oh
close.
yeah. Oh, we're watching him. If he needs our help, we'll go and
Maybe.
help.
I chuck the boot and I attempt to hide. I'm going a hard stealth, but it's the same amount. You can have 11.
Okay, so the boot flies out and lands perfectly on the lip of the house, and you can see upstairs the shadow of this of Elena, who is torn upstairs. She comes in, she sees the open window, and she yelps, and she turns around. She starts darting back downstairs, yelling, "Hey, hey!" And the door swings shut behind you, and you are hidden under the bed. You will be able to stay here for the time being.
Shit.
All right.
Can Can I go up to the fence
Yep.
and find someone who's nearby? Hey, I'll give you hold on, let me see what I got. I will give you $1 if you go grab that shoe for me. I point to the shoe the boot that Grace tossed.
Yeah, okay. He goes and he picks up the shoe and it comes back.
Ew, sick
Go.
people shoe.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And I give him $1.
He snatches it out of your hand and says, I'll sell you my shoes for 2 more.
Nope, it's all right. Just need the. I look down at my
$1
two shoes and I go,
for both.
what?
$1 for both.
Oh look, there ain't no need for that, my man. I don't need any other
Hell,
shoes.
there ain't no need for it. Please, I got some trinkets. Got some. You start kind of backing away.
No, I'll pull out my second dollar and I will go. All right, there you go, son. Look,
He looks ecstatic.
don't worry about it. Just
Thank you.
$2 for the one boot is fine. That'll do. It'll be.
Tears off. Right. Anya. So the collection of you basically sit and wait for a time. The sun starts to get lower and lower in the sky until at last it is setting. Still, and it gets behind the house and blasts this enormous light directly through that is shaded by the silhouette of the building. As the collection of you are waiting, no sign from Greece yet, no sign from anything. At last, the door opens and you see a figure come out and walk down the stairs. When this figure comes out, everyone falls silent and moves forward, but then holds themselves back, hanging as if they are watching some kind of religious figure step forward. The shadowed, silhouetted figure against the sun moves forward and ignores all the crowd, heading straight to the fence and towards your camp. Joseph, will you describe the doctor for us?
Oh, he is probably a man in about his 60s. White pushback hair that actually hasn't he hasn't lost a lot of it. He's one of the lucky few who do not. Very much like white gray, bushy but well kept beard. Would, at least in the time that I knew him, wear pretty similar clothes to what Joseph does. Suit, tie, shirt, slacks, shoes, just a little cheaper, a little more worn, and they'd be brown rather than black. He also wears glasses, half moons, unlike Joseph's.
Yep.
And he's usually, even though he's a doctor, he's usually smoking a pipe.
Okay.
One of the things I remember is the smell of various tinctures overlaid with the smell of tobacco smoke.
So he steps forward and he looks, it somehow is intensely familiar and intensely different. He's not wearing glasses, but he still has the pipe, and he steps forward and sort of chewing at it in the side of his mouth, and he looks across the collection of you. Did he have a name for you?
Boy.
He'll step forward and he'll go, Joseph, my boy. Well, yeah, you're looking. Get up here where I can see you.
Make a move forward, just kind of not really saying much.
He looks and shakes his head ruefully. Did the doc ever swear?
No.
No.
Actually, no. Because he was a military surgeon.
Oh, okay.
That's why Joseph learnt a lot of the skills he did, and why he's actually very good is the training he got from Doc was very good, even though it's a little outdated. But yeah, he was a military surgeon, so that's why he knows about a lot of stuff. So he's kind of he wouldn't have sweared at the time because he was still pretty militant. I think maybe once Joseph heard him say something like damn, or damn it all to hell when he lost someone.
Yep. But curse in Latin or something.
Yeah, or just something. But not often. No, it would be he lost someone he thought he could have saved.
Well, this is enough. He when you stand forward, he looks towards you, and yeah, I don't know what you were expecting to see, but he's alive. You'd heard maybe he was dead, but he's here. He's fine. He's so surprised to see you. He swears under his breath in Narkal, and then shakes his head and says, we got so much to discuss. We got so much to discuss. I was going to say, let's leave the session right there on a cliffhanger.
I would like this for stylistic purposes only, but I'm totally fine if you make me roll for it. I would like to respond in Narkal. Yes, we do.
Oh, okay. No, you can respond. You can respond like that. And a big smile cracks over his face. Let's leave the session there. Thank you so much, everybody. Shit. We've had some intense emotive scenes, and of course a cliffhanger here with the doc talking to the doc in snake language. 2 snake doctors. Oh boy.
Grease.
Oh no! Now there's 2 of them.
I'm doing my best.
Jeff. So now you can catch up with all of our games on the Chaosium YouTube channel. Remember to subscribe to that if you haven't already. It really helps us. And remember to like the videos. You can also follow us here on Twitch. We have lots of shows like the White Ball, which will be happening this Saturday at 8 p.m. You can catch that there. We are also going to be streaming a special video for Melbourne International Games Week on Sunday, the 4th of October at 6 o'clock Australian Eastern Standard Time. So check that out. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, David. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Art. Thank you, Jackson.
Hey,
Thank you, Jim.
Wonderful.
Thank you,
and thank
Mitch.
you, everybody, for watching. We'll catch you next time. See you later.